Oh, hey, now you decide you have to go? You've been here for
At
2 hours.
6:01,
I said you've been here for 2 hours.
I guess we're scaring the crap out of you.
Hey.
I'm waiting for Chris to come back.
Whenever he's ready. Is this a good height for you?
That's perfect. Yes, thanks. Okay.
You know, one of these times when I get up and I'm walking across the stage or down the steps or something, if I fall, promise me you'll just kill me right where I lie. Yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. You should have seen me the day I fell and broke my tailbone at home on the icy stairs. My wife is walking around behind me heckling me. My two youngest kids are standing there like, and they're going, what happened? She goes, Daddy got a boo-boo on his bum. I go, what is the matter with you? This woman I work with in Providence calls the house that I wasn't down there. So my wife tells me, oh, and I broke the entire width of the edge of the step off, pressure treated. So my wife says, she goes, were they concrete? No, yeah, I broke the concrete pressure. That's a hard one.
Can I have everybody's attention, please? Tom Stewart is going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance to open the meeting. So would everybody please stand?
Please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Now, Tom has an announcement to make, and then I have one short one, then we'll start.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight and taking an interest in this beautiful town of ours. And there are two events coming up that we want to make sure everybody's aware of. One is Memorial Day. Our town will celebrate it with a ceremony on the town common this Sunday, May 24th. It begins at 2 p.m. If you're a former service member, if you could arrive at 1:30 and be part of it with us, that'd be great. And a wonderful committee, Cindy Scavera, Joe Ballou, and others have put on for a number of years, and we'd really appreciate it if you were there. Again, that's this Sunday, 2 p.m. on the town common. There's been another committee that's been meeting since late July to plan the 250th anniversary of America's freedom, and we are doing something. And it's going to be, involves a parade, fireworks, and an event on the common. It's June 13th. We're on 97.7 FM Classic Hits. They've been talking about it. It's been in the local newspaper multiple times, and we've been putting it out on social media as well, on Facebook. And we would really appreciate inviting you to that event, June 13th, 2 p.m. on the town common. It starts at 2 with a parade and events on the common, and then concludes at the Brimfield Winery throughout the rest of the day. Reenactors, the 54th Massachusetts reenactors, Civil War reenactors will be there. It's going to be a big day, and it's our chance to celebrate together America's 250th. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Everybody, please participate in it. It looks to be a great time. Now, the only thing I want to mention is we have elections this week, and I'd love everybody to get out and vote, please. It's your town, it's your people, but thank you if you do. All right, we're ready to go, Joe?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah. Now we want to test the clickers real quick to make sure everybody's ready to vote. Make sure you push the wings, the blue one, to turn it on. Okay? And yes is green and no is red. Very simple. We're going to put a test question up. Is it up? Okay, so vote what you think. And we're just checking to make sure everything's working.
Yeah, we don't see the,
Are bats blind? Yes, okay, we're starting. And you're going to have 15 seconds to vote, which should be plenty of time. Okay, we're done. 61 think yes, 10 say no. That's good. Okay, now we're going to start. Joe, your game.
Okay, good evening. I'm Joe Ballou. I'm the chairperson of the Finance Committee. Start out, can everyone hear me, like even in the back? Can you hear me, Zach? Good. I just want to start, we have a Finance Committee member who was pretty special, Ted Steenson. He was here for over 25 years, and he moved out of town and resigned last month. And so I just want to thank him for his service. He really was provided a lot of institutional knowledge. He was always able to say, you know, oh, we tried that 15 years ago or whatever. So he's going to be missed greatly. So on behalf of the Finance Committee, I'm pleased to announce that we were able to present a balanced budget. The budget includes a 3% cost of living increase for all town employees. We did need to use some certified free cash to close the budget gap. All municipalities right now, if you guys read the news, are facing the same challenges, and many have been seeking Prop 2.5 overrides, and we're not looking for that this year. But I followed, like West Brookfield is a very similar town to ours. They had an $800,000 budget gap this year. They did an override which failed, and they're closing. Well, supposedly they're closing the elementary school and curtailing services. South Hadley had an override which failed, and they're trying again for a reduced amount. The problem is we're facing all the same challenges. This rampant inflation we've had for several years that's really just catching up to us. And all the bills we receive, everything that we spend money on is reflected in that inflation. And so we're limited by Prop 2.5, and inflation has been much higher than that for a long time. Currently, we have a 3.8% inflation rate, and the core consumer price index, which is less food and energy, is 2.8%. Also, the state local aid has been very stagnant. They should be giving us increases consistent with inflation, but this year they're only giving us a 0.1% increase, which is only $2,200. So if anybody's involved in state politics, see if you can work on that. So the more we don't gain in state and local aid, it just puts more of the tax burden goes on to the homeowners. So more property taxes have to fill the gap, basically. So we're good this year, and we may have some hard choices to make next year. We at least have to plan for that. And some of the options for next year could be a Prop 2.5 override, or actually what we're recommending is instituting a trash fee. You'll see the trash budget has gone up quite a bit, and it's getting more and more difficult for us to fund that out of the operating budget. Or major cuts to services, and those choices are yours. You guys are the legislative branch of this town, and those choices are going to be yours. So we do recognize that a trash fee is a form of a tax, but trash and recycling fees have gone up 6% per year in the contract. But even worse, the tonnage fees have almost doubled since we got into this contract. And what we've noticed and what people predicted was because we have the large bins instead of the little trash bags, people are throwing away a lot more than they used to. So I guess in general, I'll just ask people to recycle more, consider composting. If you have construction debris, it should be going to the landfill, not in the bin. But so what's being contemplated is a $200 per year trash fee for next year, and at least that would be, I think, a lot cheaper and more efficient than everybody using private haulers. From what I've heard, a private hauler is quite a bit more money than that. Regarding Article 19, I just want to address up front, we have a stabilization fund, which is our rainy day fund, and it's fully funded. We have 6% of our tax levy is in there, so we're good to go there. So we have some excess certified free cash from last year, and we wanted to create a special purpose capitalization fund for bridges and culverts. I talked to the highway superintendent. A lot of the bridges were built after the flood of '55, and they're all starting to fall apart at the same time. So we thought it was smart to use that excess money we have to put into that fund. So that'll be Article 19. So I also just don't want to confuse. I talk about how the budget is tight, but it's really the recurring expenses that come every year that's the problem. The town's in very good shape with savings. So, all the articles we've fully funded and we have money for that. So that's not a problem. It's the recurring expenses we just really have to keep an eye on. Okay, that's all I have. So I'm going to move to Article 1.
Yes, sir.
Recommend, approve, and move that the reports of the officers and agents be accepted as written in the article.
Any discussion? I see none. Open it for voting right now. Okay, voting is closed. So we have 93% say yes, so we accept Article 1.
Article 2, revolving funds. Recommend approval and move to establish the fiscal year 27 expenditure limits for the revolving funds listed in the warrant in the amounts set forth therein.
Does anyone have a discussion? Anything they want to question? Okay, article's been moved. We will vote now. Voting is closed. 96% yes, 3% no.
Article 3, salaries of elected town officials. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $184,902 as detailed in the Finance Committee recommendations accompanying the warrant for the purpose stated in the article.
Does anyone have a discussion or a question? I see none. We will close and take a vote now. Voting is closed. 89% yes, 10% no.
Okay, on Article 3, we had a few bills come in that differed a little bit from when the article was published. And it's actually an overall reduction, which is good. But if people look at item number 148, workman's comp insurance, that increased. We had budgeted, we had asked for $36,873. It's actually up to, the real bill is $40,372, which is an increase of $3,499. On the other hand, though, we had general property and liability insurance actually was lower than we originally estimated. So it went from $199,902 down to $192,921, a decrease of $6,981. So that actually reduces the entire warrant article by $3,482.
Now, that was Article 4 you were speaking to?
Article 4.
Okay. I just want to make that clear. He did say Article 3, but it was Article 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a second? Do we?
No, so I'll do the motion now. So the amount that's listed in the article will be slightly different, slightly less. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $12,945,054 as detailed in the Finance Committee recommendations as amended just now, accompanying the warrant for the purpose stated in this article.
Any discussion or questions? Yes, sir. Please come to the front, state your name and your address.
Mike Doyle, 30 Mill Lane. I would like to suggest that the road maintenance fund be increased to $150,000 based on the original estimate that was done in January and the steeply escalated prices of pavement now. Plus the wear and tear that the roads have all experienced this year.
Thank you.
Did you have a,
I saw it. 111? Yes, 111.
did you have a proposal as to where that money would come from?
The raise and appropriate. So, I don't know,
So,
wherever all the other money's coming from.
well, we have a balanced budget, so anything,
So you reduce it from is it free cash?
okay?
Okay, anybody else have a question? I see none. Oh, there you are. Wave your hand at me.
Mac Timmerwoods, 126 Washington. On, I'll have to find the line item.
Speak into the mic,
I just have a
please.
question on why is our animal control going up almost over $9,000? I remember when we voted on joining Milltown, there was like a percentage increase that was kind of stated in there, but that seems like a pretty drastic from the 20,000 we originally had to now almost 30,000. Just wondering why.
Do you want me to answer that? Or do you want to answer it? What? Okay. Yeah, we're just looking up the numbers on why it went up. Yeah, the biggest, I was on the negotiation with the three towns as a selectman, and the biggest increase was in hours so that we could get the coverage. We argued back and forth, dropped it 3 times, and came to this number. It allows us a better coverage within the towns, and they can do more for us. That's essentially what it came down to. We fought over, it was a huge increase. It was like 25%. It was really up there. So we got it down. But that's why. We discussed not having it, but it would cost us more money to do our own dog thing and have our own officers than it does to tie in with the 3 towns. That answer your question?
Yeah, I guess to tap onto that is that increase also when you were in your negotiations, that money going towards their new facility that was in discussion?
We argued that point because they asked us for capital improvements. They did reduce that number way down because we don't own the facility. So, remember what it was? Yeah, we don't have that number here. It's back in the office. Yeah, if you want to contact Chris at the selectman's office, he can tell you exactly. Okay? Yes, sir. Come to the front.
Chris Harry, 212 East Hill Road. It's on page 11, the item number's cut off. Software Permit Pro. It's continuously going up. Are we in a contract still and for how long? Because I thought we were not using that anymore, or are we using it?
Who would like to answer that?
You want me to take it?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Kelly.
We have said that what we're going to do is we're going to look at other options in addition to Permit Pro to see if we can find one that is more cost-effective and user-friendly. At this point, We're in the search process.
So I think it was 2 years ago, you asked us to fund, I forgot what the number was for it. So we're still funding it, but looking for another that's better, and we're gonna continue to pay this for how long?
Until we have a replacement.
Any other questions? Sir?
Mike Egan, 110 John Haley Road, Brimfield. On Permit Pro, are we going to use the system, or is it going to be optional for all departments and employees to use it?
One of the reasons that we made it optional was because we had at least one department that does a significant amount in the Permit Pro who has had a lot of problems using it, a lot of problems getting done what they want to, didn't feel they were getting the support they needed for this. So what we're doing is, it's optional insofar as one way or the other, you're gonna have to do the permits, you're gonna have to do the paperwork. If you say you can't do it in that system, you'll have to find another way until we can either work out the problems with Permit Pro or get a new system in here that will address the concerns.
So is the optional department not going to use it whatsoever?
Say that again?
Is the optional department not going to use it, and why are we funding it for that department?
Well, we don't fund it by department, we fund it as a whole for the town.
So the 7,000 is the whole for the town?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do I have a motion to move Article 4?
I know there was
A second?
well, there was a request to increase the highway fund. I don't know if he wants to put that in the form of a motion, or are we all set?
Yes, I would like to put that in. I raised it for, I would suggest, I make a motion to accept Article 4 as amended.
Yeah, but that doesn't cover it. Joe?
Does the highway superintendent want to address that, or nothing? Nothing to Sure, okay. We're going to have a special town meeting in the fall, so we could also have the chance to address it then. I'm just wondering, as far as highways, I appreciate what you're saying about the roads, but we also, that's why we created that special purpose fund, and we basically put all our extra money into there for the highway and culvert and bridges. So essentially, we would just be taking it out of that.
Going back to the Permit Pro, I just went on the website for us. There's 13, 14 different boards and committees that use it. So are we getting rid of it for all of them? Or is it the reason we're getting rid of it for one department, or all of, everybody's got together?
I don't believe we said we're getting rid of it. We said if you struggle and you can't use it, and you make a case that you can't use it for your particular needs, then you don't have to use it, or it would be a discussion for the board at that point. That department can come in, address the board, give the concerns and the problems they have with it. Then the board would make a decision at that point to move forward, move around it, get something else. So that's what we're doing at this point. Yeah.
I should have said, you mean I literally just said it wrong?
But they want to lump it and do it later.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes?
I will second the motion that this gentleman made.
Mr. Doyle? Okay. But the motion has to include the funding source where it's going to be taken from.
I believe he said we were going to take it from free cash.
Finance? I think they're working on that now.
So if we have to reduce the 220,000 to cover that 50,000, then you still have a stabilization fund for the bridges and culverts. But I believe that's what his motion was, and that's what I'm seconding.
What is your name and your address?
Brian McNally, 200 Wheels.
So where do you think we could take it?
I would do 26, increase it by 50,000, and 25, decrease it 34,000 into
No.
capital purchase
Okay.
stabilization. Yes, I would decrease 50 in one and increase the other one 50. Yes.
Unless this motion is straight from free cash.
To be made original. She's going to write it.
We just need to decrease it.
Okay, if you want to make a motion, we would propose that you take the 50,000 from Article 25, which would be free cash, to the Capital Purchase Stabilization Fund. So we would reduce that from 84,000 to basically 34,000. Is that your motion?
Can you come up and state your motion completely, please? You ready? Right, slowly and succinctly so he can type it in.
I can do slowly. So I would make a motion to amend Article 4 to increase line item 111 to $150,000 and remove, and take the additional $50,000 out of
Just like free cash.
free cash.
Wait a minute.
Before you sit down, just tell me if this is coming up right.
Yeah, look at it and see if it's correct. Okay, thank you. Do we have any more discussions for Article 4? We'll vote on his motion first.
I think, yeah, his motion goes first before the original motion, right? So you gotta vote on this one first and then the original.
And is it a majority or two-thirds?
Majority.
Okay, it'll be a simple majority vote. All right. Everybody ready?
This is
This is the motion, correct.
the amendment.
To amend it, and then we'll go back to 4. Okay, as amended. Okay, everybody start. Do you understand before we start? Okay? Everybody good? All right. We'll start voting now. Okay, voting's over. Ooh, close. 56 yes, 43 no. So the motion passes.
So it's 12,941.
All right. Okay. Do you have anything else? or-
Yeah, so I'll amend my motion for Article 4. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $12,991,572 as detailed in the Finance Committee recommendation accompanying the warrant for the purpose stated in the article.
Okay. We will now vote. Okay, just a second.
Get a second?
As amended, yes. Correct. Remember, this is as amended with the extra 50,000 in it. That's why it took time to get the numbers. All right, everybody ready to vote? Voting starts now. Okay, voting's over. 89% yes, 10% no. Thank you.
Article 5, unpaid bills. There are none, so I move to take no action.
Okay.
Go right. Article 6, Flea Market Fund. Recommend and move that the town, pursuant to Chapter 420 of the Acts of 2010, limit the Brimfield Flea Market Fund expenditures to $150,000 for fiscal year 2027, and that any funds remaining in said account over $50,000 for fiscal year 2027 shall close to the general fund or take any action thereon.
Anybody have questions or comments? No? Oh, yes, sir.
It's costing the taxpayers $150,000 for emergency services, the way that reads. I thought there was a cap, but we fed them $50,000 to be used and we got it back. Where'd the $150 come from?
Yes, so that's the amount for next year, but there's probably somebody else that can explain it a little better.
Okay,
Marty?
yeah, I'll speak to that. It doesn't cost the taxpayers anything out of their real estate taxes. The fund that pays for emergency service administration, ambulance, and so forth, think of it like a revolving fund. It all is paid for by the money that comes in from the show. So the sale of the permits to the vendors, the licenses for the owners, the annual licenses, inspection fees, tent fees, things of that sort, they go into the fund. Whatever expenses come out of that, police detail, ambulance, administrator, whatever it happens to be, is calculated and paid for out of that account. Whatever is left over, what this is saying is $50,000 stays in that revolving account to cover whatever expenses might occur before the May show, which, by the way, there's like almost no expenses before the May show. Whatever's left over, so for example, let's say we were $100,000 in that account. $50,000 would stay with the revolving account, and the other 50 would be sent over to the general fund. So everything that it costs the town for the show, administering the show, comes out of the money raised by the licensing, permitting, and so forth.
Okay, well, thanks for the explanation, Marty. Why are we appropriating $150,000?
So it's not-
If you've got a fund that supports.
It's a cap.
It's a cap of what you can spend.
It's not raise and appropriate, it's a cap on how much can come out of
So
there.
we're not appropriating.
No, you are not.
You're just putting a cap.
Mass General
Right.
law requires you to cap it.
Right, so in other words,
All right.
whatever you collect in,
I understand.
Okay.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
yep, okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? We had a second. Thank you.
No.
Voting starts now. Voting's closed. 84% yes, 15% no.
Article 7, Highway Surveyor Enter Contracts. Recommend approval authorizing the Chief Procurement Officer with the approval of the Highway Surveyor to enter into contracts for fiscal year 2027 and move such authorization to be established for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions? I see none. Voting will start now. Okay, voting's closed. 97 yes, 2% no.
Article 8, authorize Select Board to contract. Recommend approval authorizing the Chief Procurement Officer with the approval of the Select Board to enter into contracts for fiscal year 2027 and move such authorization be established for the purpose stated in the article.
Does anyone have a question on that? No questions? All right, I will start voting now. Okay, voting's closed. 92% yes, 7% no.
Article 9, Conservation Fund. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $500 for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions? I see no questions. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 92% yes, 7% no.
Just want to say, because there was a question before, so the Finance Committee can recommend approval or can recommend a differing amount, and that's the case in Article 10, so it's going to be different from your town warrant. Article 10, Building and Structure Maintenance. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be expended by the Select Board for the purpose stated in the article.
Okay, any questions out there on this? Yes, sir?
Mike DeFalco, Dunham Town Palmer Road. It says 100,000 in the warrant article, and every year we go through the same thing. The warrant article will say 100,000, the Finance Committee reduces to 50,000. Then every time we try and do anything about any of the buildings in town, everybody complains they're falling apart, but we never have money to spend on any of them. This is one of the reasons. If the town is balanced on 100,000, why are we reducing to 50?
Well, because we weren't balanced at 100,000. This was one of the cuts we made to balance the budget.
Why wasn't the warrant changed to reflect that?
Because that's what the amount the petitioner requested, so that's what goes into the warrant. We did have discussion about this. We're not, we understand what you're saying. There is a special town meeting in the fall, and one thing we've asked is for the Select Board to come up with more specific projects rather than just a blanket amount of money. So that's kind of where we're at.
And we all know that'll get voted down by a group of people in town. So what happens is every year, the building's getting worse and worse condition. Nothing is done about it. We don't put money into them, and we're gonna end up with having tents on the common operating the town.
Any other comments or questions?
Just to point out, there was a sum of money that was allocated for windows and paint at the last special town meeting as well, and that money is still there.
Anything else? Okay, voting starts now. Voting is closed. 88% yes, 11% no.
Article 11, Lake Sherman Weed Control. Recommend and move that the town transfer the sum of $10,000 from the Thames River Grant 14-3562-0122 to the Lake Sherman Weed Control account 01-0630-5355 to be expended by the Select Board for the purpose stated in the article.
Okay, does anyone have any questions, comments? I see none. Voting will start now. Voting is closed. 83% yes, 16 no.
Article 12, Pedestrian Crossing Signs. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $7,047.45 to purchase 2 new solar-powered pedestrian crossing signs.
Any questions, comments? I see none. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 89% yes, 10% no.
Article 13, cemetery wall repair. Recommend and move that the town transfer the sum of $50,000 from the capital purchase stabilization fund to be expended by the chief procurement officer with the approval of the highway surveyor and cemetery commission for the purpose stated in the article.
Anyone have any questions or comments? I see none. Voting starts now. Can you wait, please, sir?
No, because these clippers are not working. When you say to vote and you hit it, it goes to an A. If I don't sit and watch my clicker, and it almost takes about 4 or 5 seconds later, so I think it's important that you explain that to the crowd, that it's important that they can see the word okay.
Is anyone else having a problem?
Yeah. There's a delay.
Is your clicker on? It's the delay.
What is happening, Mr. Moderator, is the moment you say you can vote, if they click it, it's too soon. That's the problem. You have to wait 2 or 3 seconds. So I just recommend to everybody to look at your clicker and make sure you see the word okay. If you don't, hit it again. Hit either the green button or the red button.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
All right, this is closed on voting, Article 13. 89% yes, 10% no.
Article 14, federal single audit. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions, comments? Okay, I'm going to say it starts now. We'll count to 3 before you push your button. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 93% yes, 6% no.
Article 15, handicap accessible van. Recommend and move that the town transfer the sum of $86,918 from the capital purchase stabilization fund for the purpose stated in the article.
Any comments? Any questions? I see none. Push the button. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 87 yes, 12% no.
Article 16, laptop replacement. Recommend and move that the town transfer from the capital purchase stabilization fund the sum of $25,000 for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions or comments? I see none. Once again, voting starts now. Voting is closed. 79% yes, 20% no.
Article 17, rescue boat. Recommend and move that the town raise and appropriate the sum of $20,000 to be expended by the fire chief for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions? No questions? Okay, voting starts now. Voting is closed. 80% yes, 20% no.
Article 18, creating a new position, the electrical inspector clerk, move to take no action.
Okay, let's move on.
Article 19, bridges and culverts. Recommend and move to transfer the sum of $220,000 from free cash to establish a special purpose stabilization fund to be known as the Bridges and Culverts Stabilization Fund for the purpose stated in the article.
Do we have any questions, comments?
No, we ended up, we're going to take that from a different account. Don't worry.
Anybody else?
220.
I see none. Voting starts now.
And I believe we need
Voting is closed.
2/3, right?
Yeah, you have 91%, so yes.
Okay, good.
8.5 noes.
Article 20, cost of publishing assessor's valuation list, recommend move to take no action. Article 21, bylaw change assessor valuation list, recommend and move to defer to petitioner.
Who's the petitioner?
Should be the select board and the board of assessors.
I think that's one that would defer to the assessors. We just put it on the agenda for them. I can't make an argument for it. Huh?
Do we have any questions?
Guess not.
I'm told we're, to move the section 3.7 of chapter 1 of the bylaws be amended as printed in the warrant.
Anyone have any questions? Everybody have a chance to review and understand? Okay. You want to
I
come
think
in?
it's just a number.
Please.
So,
It's not a spending bill, that's why we didn't make a motion on it.
Chris, hold on one second. So I'm told that you can look in the assessor's page of the annual town report. So basically, it was kind of contradicting. It was 3 years, and then there was another section that was 5 years. So we're just adopting the bylaws, or changing the bylaws to the 5 years. Correct, Chris?
Yes. It matches the current reval cycle for the assessors,
Right.
to change from previously 3 years.
Any questions? Essentially, it's cleaning up our bylaw, so making it consistent. Anyone have a question? Majority. All right, voting starts now. Voting's closed. 93% yes, 6% no.
Article 22 is similar. It's a general bylaw change regarding audit frequency. And again, I'm going to defer to the petitioner.
Move that section 1.0 of chapter 3 of the bylaws, providing for audits, be amended as printed in the warrant.
Any questions? I see none. We'll move to voting right now. Voting is closed. 98 yes, 1% no.
Article 23, building project principal and interest. This is regarding the public safety complex. Recommend and move to raise and appropriate the sum of $177,750 to pay principal and interest due in fiscal year 2027 on funds borrowed for the facilities building project. Article number 22, voted at the May 21st, 2018 annual town meeting for the purpose stated in the article.
Any questions? I see none. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 93% yes, 6% no.
Article 24, free cash to stabilization fund, move to take no action. Okay, Article 25, this is where we came up with the 50,000 for the highway fund. Article 25, free cash and raise and appropriate to the capital purchase stabilization fund. Just hold on one second. Yeah. Sorry, just a typo. So Article 25, free cash to the capital purchase stabilization fund. Recommend and move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $34,629 to the capital purchase stabilization fund.
Any questions? I see none. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 94% yes, 5% no.
This number should stay the same.
See, this one went up 50,000, that went up 50.
I'm sorry about that $50,000 change. We just want to make sure everything reconciles. Just give us 1 minute. Sorry, last article. Article 26, free cash and overlay surplus to reduce tax rate. Recommend and move that the town transfer the sum of $609,071.01 from certified free cash to reduce the tax rate for fiscal year 2027.
Do you have any questions, anybody? Any comments? This is going way too smooth, folks. All right. Voting starts now. Voting is closed. 93% yes, 6% no. I'll take a motion to close the meeting.
I can make the motion. I
Make-
make a motion to close the annual town meeting.
I'll second it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Meeting's over.
Thank you.